Today we're doing fractions mixed practice operations. So today we're going to be using multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. And so you're going to need to remember the rules for each individual type of problem. Remember, for multiplying, you convert into improper fractions and then you multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and simplify. For division, you convert to improper fractions, but remember you do that keep, switch, flip. Then you can multiply across the top and bottom and simplify. For adding and subtracting, remember we stack and rack the fractions. So for multiply, divide, we can work side to side, but adding and subtracting, we need to stack and rack the fractions. Then we're going to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions, find a common denominator, add or subtract the numerators and keep the denominator, and leave the answer improper and simplify if needed. Now remember, for multiplying and dividing, you can also leave the answer improper. So let's look at a few examples. If we review number one is a division problem. So for number one, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. So this becomes 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 gives you 5 over 3 divided by 1/7. Now remember, with division, you need to do keep, switch, flip. If I keep the first fraction the same, it becomes 5/3. Switch from division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip this one over so it becomes 7 over 1. That's the reciprocal. Across the top, across the bottom. 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 1 is 3. That cannot simplify. So I need to look at my answer choices. Now, do you see how the denominators are 3? More than likely, this one or this one's going to be the answer. But I'm going to convert them all into mixed numbers. Or you could even think in your head, how many times does 3 go into 35? It would be 11 times. Denominator stays 3. 3 times 11 is 33, plus 2 more gets me to 35. So this one right here matches 35 over 3. If I do the magic C, 3 times 11 plus 2 gives me 35. So that's the answer. This one would be 34 over 3, which is not what we're looking for. This one would be 61 over 6. And this one would be 64 over 9. So that one doesn't match. The next one is an adding problem. Remember, add, subtract, stack, and rack. So 5/7 plus 1/4. Common denominator between 7 and 4 is going to be 28. So we're going to set them both equal to a denominator of 28. 4 times 7 is 28. So we're going to multiply the top number by 7. And then 7 times 4 is 28, so 5 times 4 would be 20. Look at the numerators. It's an addition problem, so we're going to add them together. And we get 28. 20 plus 7 gives you 27 over 28. That does not simplify. Now, if you look at the denominator should be 28, so these two are probably more than likely our answer. But if we look at this, 28 goes into 27. There's no whole number stuck in there, so this one is the only answer. You could also convert these into improper fractions if you're unsure. 28 times 1 is 28, plus 1 more gives you 29 over 28, which is not the answer. This one would be 67 over 30, which is also not the answer. All right, if we look at number 3 is another subtraction problem. Add, subtract, stack, and rack. So we're going to stack these up. And we're going to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 more gives you 8 over 7. This is just going to stay 4 over 14, so you can just drag it over if you want. Look at the denominators. 7 and 14. 7 is a factor of 14, so I'm going to set this equal to a denominator of 14. Leave this one alone. 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 2 is 16. Now I have to do the subtraction. So I'm going to do 16 minus 4 over 14. 16 minus 4 is, I'm going to come down here because I ran out of space, 12 over 14. Divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I have 6/7. And here's the answer right there. But you can always convert this into an improper fraction if you're wondering. And this would be 16 over 9. So 6/7 right there is the only one that matches. And then number 4, the easiest of all of them, multiplication. There's no mixed numbers, so we're just going to go across the top and across the bottom. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 9 is 45. It doesn't simplify, so right there is the answer. Okay, so there's your quick review of the 4 different types of problems. If you're having trouble with either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, rewind the video and watch each one that you need help on.